Somewhere beyond the fog, where the wind still remembers forgotten names, a story stirs quietly, waiting to be felt. Not told. This is a whisper from elsewhere. Let us begin our story. There was once a small tribe in a desolate land that I'm sure you have never heard of. Their village nestled between rolling hills and arid plains, where the wind whispered tales of old. They were a peaceful people, unconcerned with the battles and intrigues that plagued their neighbors. All they asked was to be left alone in their quiet corner of the world. And so they lived in harmony with the sun and the stars, tracing patterns on the fabric of time until one fateful night when the tranquility of their existence was shattered by the ominous approach of darkness. It slithered into their valley like a venomous serpent, coiling around their homes and extinguishing their fires. When the first rays of dawn pierced through the gloom, they saw standing before them a demon of immense power. Its eyes burned with infernal fires, promising torment, and its voice boomed like thunder, demanding their surrender. It spoke of a great lord who desired their world, and how futile resistance would be. It offered them a choice, submission or annihilation. For the demon, their souls were nothing more than playthings, and their world, a mere stepping stone for its master's conquest. Submission meant eternal servitude, a life of menial tasks and ceaseless toil under the yoke of their new masters. It meant the slow erosion of their culture, their traditions, and their very identities becoming mere echoes of what once was. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, there were glimmers of defiance. Among them stood the chieftain, a young man whose spirit burned brighter than the demon's infernal eyes. Now, up until this point, the chieftain had lived a life untouched by warfare. His hands, usually adept at crafting tools or tending crops, had never known the heft of a weapon. Yet deep down, beneath the calm surface, a warrior spirit stirred. He had heard tales of valor and sacrifice from his elders around the campfire, and he knew in his heart that the time for stories was over. If they submitted, their children would be born in shackles. Their future generations would forever bear the chains of servitude. As the demon's shadow loomed larger, he knew that the fate of his people, the legacy of his ancestors, rested on his shoulders. So he looked out at his people, their faces etched with fear yet resolute. With a voice that trembled but did not break, he began his oath. My people, today we stand at the precipice of our existence. Behind us lies the legacy of our ancestors, their sacrifices and their dreams. Before us is the shadow of our possible extinction. We are few, yet we are united. We are untrained, yet our spirits burn bright. We may not be able to defeat this demon, but we can make it pay dearly for every step it takes. Even if it means our last drop of blood, we will fight. Even if none remain, my soul will rise to fight again. Only when our children walk free on the ancestral lands will I rest in peace. That is my oath. As he spoke these words, something profound shifted among his people. Fear gave way to determination and resignation to resolve. One by one, they echoed his words, their voices rising in a chorus of defiance that reverberated through the valley. Thus began their arduous training. Under the chieftain's guidance, they transformed fear into focus, resignation into resolve. Every able-bodied member of the tribe trained relentlessly, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The chieftain himself spent hours each day honing his skills, learning the art of war from grizzled veterans who had seen their share of battles. He learned to lead by example, to endure pain without flinching, and to cast away fear as one would discard a broken tool. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The memory of the demon's ultimatum served as a constant reminder, fueling their determination to be ready when the darkness returned. The tribe was now a well-oiled machine, ready to face any challenge. Then one day, as if summoned by their thoughts, the demon returned, standing before them once again, its presence casting an oppressive gloom over the land. So you have prepared, it boomed, amusement lacing its voice. Fools, you cannot hope to win. But perhaps I will grant you a quicker death this time. The chieftain stepped forward, his eyes blazing with defiance. You underestimate us, he retorted, his voice echoing with the confidence of a true leader. You came for our souls. You will find only our defiance. And just like that, the battle commenced. The demon unleashed its wrath, its attacks as sudden and merciless as a winter storm. The warriors of the tribe stood firm, their weapons flashing in the dim light as they parried and thrust, their movements a testament to their months of training. The clash of steel on steel echoed through the valley, mingling with the guttural roars of the demon and the defiant screams of the tribe. The chieftain fought like a man possessed, his spear a blur of motion as he harried the demon, refusing to let it gain the upper hand. But the demon was relentless, its power seemingly inexhaustible. As the battle raged on, the tribe began to falter. One by one, their ranks thinned, their bodies succumbing to the demon's overwhelming strength. Yet they fought on, their determination to protect their way of life driving them forward. Blood painted a grim canvas across the battlefield, staining the ancestral soil with the crimson hues of courage and sacrifice. Each fallen warrior was mourned, there passing a fresh wound on the tribe's collective soul. Still, the chieftain pressed on, fueled by the memory of his fallen comrades and the hope of a better future for his people. Hours bled into days, and still the battle raged. The demon, wounded but not defeated, became increasingly desperate, its attacks growing more erratic and violent. It was clear that the end was near, but the victory seemed impossible. The tribe was on the brink of annihilation, their strength depleted, their numbers decimated. Yet the chieftain refused to yield. With a final surge of adrenaline, he managed to land a critical blow, piercing the demon's armor and reaching its heart. The demon roared in pain and anger, its massive form crashing to the ground with a deafening thud that shook the very foundations of the valley. As the dust settled, the survivors emerged, battered but unbroken, gazing at the fallen demon with a mixture of awe and disbelief. They had done it. Against all odds, they had defeated the demon that had threatened to engulf their world in darkness. But their victory was a Pyrrhic one. Of the men that had stood shoulder to shoulder against the demon, only a handful remained. The blood of their ancestors, now mingled with the soil, bore witness to their bravery. Years turned into decades, and the memory of the great battle faded into legend. Children played in the meadows where their forefathers had fought, their laughter echoing in the wind. They knew not the meaning of war, nor the horrors of the demon's reign. Yet, every full moon, the elders gathered around a bonfire, sharing stories of the brave men who had given their lives for their freedom. And beneath the earth, beneath the very soil they walked on, their ancestors smiled, their spirits finding solace in the knowledge that their sacrifice had secured a future for their people, a future filled with the promise of peace and freedom. The last oath had been a testament to their courage, their unity, and their unbreakable spirit. It was a tale whispered through generations, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of courage and unity can prevail. Fog settles again, the light fades, but the story lingers, in echoes, in ashes, in silence. Perhaps you've felt it too. Another whisper waits, somewhere. Until next time, stay close to the flame.